mean that the file is recoverable. I have received pictures to work on through FTP, file transfer protocol, email, that kind of thing, and you see the thumbnail, and the file size is really seems fine. And when you double click it, it says it cannot parse the file, it does not recognize this kind of document. Sometimes that could be because the extension, it was a JPEG and they typed in TIFF instead, but generally what it means is it's corrupted, it's incomplete, so you have to re-download. Now, that's something to keep in mind, because just because there's a thumbnail doesn't mean that you have the actual image. So the worst case scenario, the absolute worst case scenario is for you to make a screenshot, a little screenshot, preferably of the selected area where that thumbnail is, and maybe you could get it kind of big, and maybe like 100 pixels wide or whatever it would be, a couple inches. The reason why I say that is because maybe that particular image is of significance and you want to keep something of it. But generally, when you have a situation, you are out of luck. Besides certain recovery software, I like the backup idea, but if you're hiking and you don't have a laptop and all you have is these cards, that's really all you can do. In some cases, maybe your phone could transfer the files to your mobile phone, your smartphone, through Bluetooth technology, or if your smartphone is able to connect to the internet, you can transfer those photos from your camera through the phone to your server, or email it to yourself, that kind of thing. It's just not much you can do except try to be prepared for the worst all the time and hope that when the worst happens, you're prepared. I have just a excellent little website, and we're going to show you. This is it's really amazing. It's a free website where you can do quick editing of your photos. It's not Photoshop, I'm warning you, but some of the same principles apply. So, my students who are or potential students or past students who have studied under me would be able to apply what they've learned to this software, and I think get some really good results. So we're going to check that out in a minute.
What makes a good scan?
What is a selection?
What are layers?
What is resolution?
What is a JPEG?
What is TIFF?
What is RGB?
How do I crop a picture?
What is a zoom tool?
What is a clone stamp?
What are levels?
My name is Eric Basir, and I have produced this unique photo restoration and retouching foundations video course to answer all of these questions and more. In my classes and workshops, I have taught hundreds how to preserve and restore their personal photographic collections with Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Photoshop Elements. Now you can have me as your personal instructor in this 10-lesson course. After studying the videos and easy-to-read workbook, you'll finish with a firm foundation of how to use Adobe Photoshop or any other photo editing program confidently and correctly.
So, whenever it's summertime, springtime, I always think about eating out in the garden, out at the forest preserve on the grass. They call it a picnic. Well, this picnic I'm going to talk to you about is actually, it has very little to do with food. So let's go right to the screen here. This is a website called Picnik, and it's basically a place where you can upload your picture and work on it. And you can do, you don't even have to sign up just to get started. Watch this. I'm right here at picnik.com. And, you know, we'll put that in the chat room link for you here. And so picnik.com. It says Picnik is even better if you create an account. But for now, let's just skip that. Let's go to upload a photo. And I'll take this photo right here. This was a camera phone photo. How about that? How bad can it get, right? And so looking on the screen, you have a nice big preview window. Down at the bottom right corner, there's a little zoom slider, and you can actually zoom in. I mean, this is amazing. Now, of course, the quality of the image is really based on what you were able to shoot with that camera. All right. So here they are. We can zoom in real close. We at this little karate school here. So it's at 100% about right here, and it's telling us that, but you can really crank it up. And watch this, when I zoom in, I can actually move within. It's so intuitive. I'm just clicking and dragging. There's so many interesting features here. So let's just start. One thing that I've going way back to when I took my first photography class at Evanston Township High School, and my teacher, Mr. Ware. What a great photographer and teacher. He told us, he says, don't use auto. Anything that says auto on it, you cannot use for your camera. And autofocus, auto exposure. So, you know, I didn't quite understand. So, you know, I went ahead and did it, you know, anyways, right? And eventually I found out, you know, I had unpredictable results. So auto is never something to use. Automatic functions are not recommended, because if you're a beginner, you're not going to know what you're doing. You're just going to mess it up, generally. You might be lucky, but that's the whole thing. We don't want to be lucky. We want to break down the science, the mystery behind what makes pictures look better, and deal with the mathematics of it all. Because you can guess, but and hope that you're right. But if you know how to do it right, that's what's important. But there's an auto